definition of a victim is when someone says to you, why are you so unhappy? And you say, I am this way because of that person or that thing, that circumstance, which is really saying, I'm allowing my outer world to control my feelings and my thoughts. And so then the moment you say, hey, this person or this circumstance that's making me feel this way, then you're a victim to those circumstances. So then there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how we live in our humanity. So as an example, the more altered you feel emotionally inside of you because of some condition in your outer world, let's say something causes you to feel angry or something causes you to feel sad. The moment you stop feeling like Laura and you start feeling altered, the change in your internal state causes you to pay attention to what's happening in your outer world. And so you narrow your focus on the cause. Now, the problem with that is that the problems and circumstances in our life that are causing us to feel the most emotions, we're putting most of our attention on. And where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So in a sense, you're giving your power away to that person or that circumstance. So then now your energy is commingled with the person that you dislike, with your enemy, with your boss, with your coworker, with your ex, because that's where all of your attention is. So then when you're living in survival, then you're saying, well, that person who's betraying me or that person that's making me feel unhappy, I got to be prepared when it happens again. So we start anticipating subconsciously it's going to happen again. So we live in this constant state of vigilance, this constant state of survival. And in survival, it's not a time to create. If you're being chased by a predator, it's not a time to sit down on the ground, go within, close your eyes. You would be vulnerable. It's not a time to learn. It's not a time to open your heart. It's not a time to go within. It's a time to run, to fight, and to hide. And so the primitive nature in us in survival, which again, 70% of the time, we're living in that state of emergency. And in emergency, it's not a time for growth. It's not a time to create. It's not a time for repair. It's a time for emergency. So then think about this. So then if you're waking up every single day and you're living in this constant state, then for the most part, then you're not going to want to believe that your thoughts have anything to do with your future. In fact, getting a person to sit down and close their eyes, who's fearful, who's anxious, who's worried, who's depressed, that takes an enormous amount of effort. So, but if they understand the theory and the technology, then all of a sudden, if they start applying themselves and going within, and every time they start noticing a thought that's connected to a person or to an emotion, and they stop and they settle their body back down into the present moment, the act of doing that is a victory. Most people say, I can't focus. No, you became aware that you lost the present moment and you return back to the present moment. Every time you do that, you're telling the body it's no longer the mind, that you're the mind, and there's a liberation of energy. The body's releasing energy. Then the body says, well, you normally wake up at 8 o'clock, you get in traffic, and now all of a sudden you start getting angry in traffic, and now you're sitting there with your eyes closed and the body's going, you're off schedule. You usually feel angry at this time. So the body starts craving anger. And so what it does is it sends signals to the brain of all the past things in your life you can get angry about. And now the moment you realize that your brain is doing that, just for the addiction of that emotion, and where you place your attention is where you place your energy. If you put your attention on that emotion, you're siphoning energy out of the present moment into the past. You become aware of that. You return back to the present moment, and you tell the body then it's no longer the mind. You settle it down. That's another victory. Then the body says, well, I want to get up. I got emails to check. I got to take a shower. I got phone calls to make. I got texts to return. And it wants to get up. And you wanted it to sit down, and you realize that when it's on a program and it starts to do that, and you settle it back down into the present moment, it's another victory. That means then your will is getting greater than the program, and David is slaying Goliath. And in the act of doing this over time, sooner or later, like the body, it's just the animal, it's just the servant. Sooner or later, if you're training an animal to sit, sooner or later it's going to learn how to sit, and the body finally surrenders to another mind. And that is the moment the person starts freeing themselves. So then once they get beyond their body, their identity, the people in their life, the things they own, the place they live, in time itself, when they become pure consciousness, now it's time to begin to connect to that resource, that field. And being able to understand how to do that allows them all of a sudden to create more from holism from oneness instead of duality, polarity, or separation, because the hormones of stress heighten the senses and we become materialists, which means then there's me here and there's you there. And if you look different than me, I'm going to feel more separate. And then there's me here, and then there's my dreams way over there, way out there, because that's how I see them, like at a distance. And I got to drag my body through space, and it's going to take time for me to get my new house, my new career, my new relationship, because I'm matter trying to influence matter. So then in the quantum, though, when you start connecting to this field, you experience less separation and more wholeness. And now when you create from the field, all you have to do is change your energy. And so when you do that properly, you no longer play by the rules of Newtonian physics. In fact, you do the opposite. You start drawing experiences to you, because now you are the vortex. We could say you collapse time and space, or the experience is drawn to you. Now all of a sudden the game changes, because the synchronicities, the coincidences, the serendipities, the opportunities start showing up in your life, and you're now the vortex. You're the center of that. When that starts to occur, and you start correlating what you were doing inside of you that produced that experience outside of you, you're going to pay attention to what you did, and you're going to do it again. And sooner or later, you're going to start believing more that you're the creator of your life and less the victim of your life. Now, here's the caveat. You can't have a great meditation, feel all holy, feel all spiritual, feel all connected, and then the moment you open your eyes, you return back to the program. You start getting angry, you start getting frustrated, you start getting impatient. The moment you do that, you just disconnected from the energy of your future, and you're back to the energy of your past. And don't expect anything to change in your life. That in fact, the whole purpose of this work is to change the brain and body, so that when you get up from your meditation, that you can maintain that modified state of mind and body your entire day. And if you can, get ready, because weird and wonderful things are going to begin to happen in your life. So you got to be able to sustain that state with your eyes open, as well as you did in reaching there with your eyes closed. And it's a practice. And it's, I mean, even Einstein said it's a vibrational universe. I mean, when there's a vibrational match between you and some experience that exists in the quantum field, get ready, because if you're drawing experiences to you, and then all of a sudden you have to keep redefining abundance. I mean, my definition of abundance today is very different than it was just a year ago, because so many people think abundance is about money, but abundance is having more than you need. Yeah. Like having way more than you need. So all my needs are met and then some. And then when you have that experience, then what is your next definition of abundance? If you truly believe then that's abundance, is there another level? But you would never know that until you've had the experience of abundance to that point. Yeah. So then all of a sudden, our definitions begin to change. Same thing with health. You see all these people, they come in and they think that they just want to get their body healthy. But what they're really doing is getting their mind healthy. And they're changing their energy. They're having all these other things going on. And they reach a point where they're so happy with themselves. They're so in love with life. They're in such a state of grace and gratitude that they could care less if they have the disease, because they're so happy with them. That's the moment disease goes away, because they're no longer the same personality. They're somebody else. The disease exists in the other person because they're thinking differently. They're acting differently. They're feeling differently. And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. Change your personality, you change your personal reality. Most people are trying to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. So teaching people how to do that, and then strengthening their belief in themselves, because when you believe in yourself, you believe in possibilities. When you believe in possibilities, you believe in yourself. So many people close the door to possibilities because they're viewing their future through the lens of the past. Why? The brain is a record of the past. It's an artifact of everything you've learned and experienced in this moment. It's wired to the past. And feelings and emotions are the end product of past experiences. So most people wake up in the morning, they start thinking about their problems. Those problems are memories that are etched in their brain that are connected to certain people and things at certain times and places. The moment they start remembering their problems, they're already thinking in the past. Every one of those problems has an emotion associated to them. So they start feeling discouraged. They start feeling unhappy. They start feeling like a failure. And the moment they feel those emotions, now the body's in the past. Why? Because thoughts are the language of the the brain, and feelings are the language of the body. And how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So in a sense, most people wake up and their entire state of being is in the past. So how can they see a new possibility when they're viewing their future through the lens of the past? So then I say, if you're not being defined by a vision of the future, then all you're left with is the memories of the past, and you will be predictable in your life. So people love to wait for trauma or crisis or disease or diagnosis or loss or something to go wrong in their life where they just reach their lowest point where they say, I got to change and I got to stop thinking this way. What have I been thinking about? How have I been acting? How have I been feeling? And the act of observing yourself by observation begins to disentangle you from the program, because now you're the consciousness observing the program, and you begin to objectify your subjective self. That's lighting a match in a dark place, and most people would rather turn on the TV, they'd rather get on their cell phone, they'd rather get on the internet, they would rather something outside of them change how they feel inside of them. And this work is about regulating it without anything outside of you, because when you do that, now you're free. You don't need a person, you don't need a drug, you don't need a thing, you don't need a shopping spree, a football game. You don't need any of those things. You can do it by yourself. And that's when we begin to develop this thing called unconditional love. Because our students, we've measured their neurotransmitters. Oxytocin levels, and many of our students go up hundreds of times. Oxytocin is the love chemical, and oxytocin signals nitric oxide, and nitric oxide signals a chemical called derived endothelial relaxing factor, which is a big word for causing your heart to literally swell. It causes the arteries in your heart to get more oxygen, more nutrients, more blood. It's not something mystical. It's very physiological. It's like just like when you're sexually aroused and blood flows there, the same thing is happening, but only it's happening in your heart, and you feel with a different consciousness so much love. This is where our creative center starts. This is where the beginning of our divinity. This is our connection. This is the union of polarity, the union of opposites. This is oneness, and where wholeness begins. This is where we should be creating from. So if you can't get energy here, and you can't feel a love for your future, that means then on some level you're more addicted to the emotions of the past. So then this is really fundamental, because when people start to make those changes, they start getting happy for no reason. And all the things that they thought they wanted, the career, the relationship, all those things, they no longer want them because they feel so whole, they feel like they already have them. And so if your oxytocin levels are up 200 times, you're so in love with life, you feel so amazing that you wouldn't start judging another person, because if you did, you'd lose the feeling. And people start figuring out, I'm just going to stop judging. Hey, that person that betrayed me 10 years ago, I feel so whole, I'm going to let them go. I gotta take my attention off them because you feel so great. You don't really care about them any longer, and that's forgiveness, but you're not trying to do it. You're not trying to be spiritual. You're not trying to be forgiving. It's the side effect of a shift in consciousness. And when energy makes it to the heart, it goes right to the brain. We've measured that enough times, and it resets the person's baseline for fear and anxiety. It begins to change the survival centers in the brain, and the person's no longer so vigilant looking around in their outer world of what's going to change and try to control and predict it. They're more relaxed into the present moment. And of course, now things are happening around them. So the work then becomes instrumental, not just because we want people to make those significant changes, but we also want them to reap the benefits of their own efforts.
I really hope you loved this video and it was helpful. So please help me make it more popular by giving your thumbs up, commenting it and sharing on the social networks with your friends. And now it's time for our daily Complete the Quote challenge. If you're new to this, your job is to complete the inspiring quote we choose for you and write the correct answer in the comments below the video. If you can give us the right answer first, you're the winner of this daily challenge. In the previous video, we had a quote that belongs to Dr. Dispenza. We were looking for two words. The quote goes like this: your personality is made of how you act, how you think, and how? And the correct answer was you feel. So, your personality is made up of how you act, how you think, and how you feel. Congratulations to everyone with the correct answer, and to everyone who tried but didn't guess the answer. Today we also have the quote from Dr. Dispenza. The quote goes like this: when you believe in yourself, you believe. So we are missing for two words. If you know the correct answer, write it down in the comment section. Even if you are not sure what the correct answer is, try and guess and find out the right answer in the next video. If you like this video and our challenge, give your thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Spread the word. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button. By doing that, you'll get noted when my new video and new challenge is out. If you really like what we do here and want to support us, you can join our channel and our community for a symbolic fee and gain many other additional features. You can do that by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. Or you can click on the link in the description of this video. Stay good and have a great day.